Hi folks, this is Jay. Hope you're okay today. It's good to be with you. We're just going to look at evolution and freedom of speech. I'm going to show you some evidence that's going to blow you away. Now, this is from a video called Expelled. When it came out, it was absolutely panned by the atheist community and evolutionists worldwide. The atheists said they're not evolutionists, but the atheists are evolutionists, and the evolutionists very often are atheists, and they work hand in hand. And no amount of saying lots of Christians are theistic evolutionists will get away from the fact that the majority of people who believe in evolution are evolutionist and atheist, and they have an anti-God agenda. They are not pro-science, they are pro-suppressing of freedom of speech. I know this for a fact. I'm an expert in historical Jesus studies. I'm an expert on the defense of the resurrection of Christ. I am, whether people agree with that or not. And the fact of the matter is, no atheist worldwide of any academic standing will have an academic debate and discussion with me. Rather, what I have found is threats and intimidation from the atheist community. Now, this is what we're finding around the world today. Atheists and evolutionists will not engage in academic debate. Instead, they will suppress the truth. They will suppress anybody who challenges them and can challenge them on their own ground with good academic scholarship. Now, I'm going to prove that absolutely categorically concerning evolution. I've won the debate against the militant atheists. We've found them out. We've shown that they're complete, absolutely dead in the water, shown that they've taken away my freedom of speech. I had to close the channel down, and you know all about the story. And even to this day, that channel, which used to critique atheism, Atheist Examined, is closed. It's been closed because of the intimidation by many atheists online. So my freedom of speech against atheism has been suppressed. But it gets worse. It's not only in atheism, but also in evolution where freedom of speech is suppressed. And I'm going to absolutely show you this, that this is going on. So this is in a video called Expelled. It was done by a guy called Stein, and he was absolutely panned for this, and all the atheists and evolutionists came out and said, oh, we've exposed him, there's lies in it, there's been editing and all the rest. They really went to town because they hated this video. They absolutely hated it. But I'm going to show you a clip that if you investigate this clip that I'm going to show you, you're going to find tons of evidence that I am giving you to prove my point, that there is intimidation going on, not in the evolutionists. Now, if this is going on at the top rank academic level amongst evolutionists, when I'm telling you it's been going on YouTube against me, a first rank theologian who's an expert in the historical Jesus studies, and I've been intimidated, I've been threatened, I've been pushed out, and my freedom of speech has been taken away by the atheist community. If it's been done with the first rank evolutionist scientist, how much more is it being done on a day-to-day level on YouTube? Okay, so here's my evidence for you, and what I'm going to show you is going to blow you away. So here's the video, and when we get to it, I'll show you what's going on.
Citizens of America, we're talking about freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom from fear, freedom of religion. Martin Luther King said America is essentially a dream, and he said it is a dream of freedom and equality, and freedom is the way to equality. And America simply would not be America without freedom. In every turning point in our history, the decision has always been about freedom. Freedom is what makes this country great. Freedom has allowed us to create, to explore, to overcome every challenge we have faced as a nation. But imagine if these freedoms were taken away. Where would we be? What would we lose? Well, unfortunately, I no longer need to imagine. It's happening. We are losing our freedom in one of the most important sectors of society, science. I have always assumed that scientists were free to ask any question, to pursue any line of inquiry without fear of reprisal. But recently, I've been alarmed to discover that this is not the case. It all began when I met evolutionary biologist Richard Sternberg in Washington, D.C. His life was nearly ruined when he strayed from the party line while serving as editor of a scientific journal affiliated with the prestigious Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. Your office was over there?
That's correct. This here is the West Wing. Directly ahead of us is the West Wing of the Natural History Museum.
So now you're not there anymore because you're a bad boy.
No, I'm not. No, I was exiled.
You're a bad boy. You question the powers that be. What was Dr. Sternberg's crime? He dared to publish an article by Dr. Stephen Meyer, one of the leading lights of the intelligent design movement. The paper ignited a firestorm of controversy merely because it suggested intelligent design might be able to explain how life began. As a result, Dr. Sternberg lost his office, his political and religious beliefs were investigated, and he was pressured to resign.
The questioning of Darwinism was a bridge too far for many. The mentioning of intelligent design that occurs at the end of the paper was over the top. And I think the intelligent design proponents have raised a number of very important questions.
And you wanted to get those questions brought up and discussed.
Placed on the table.
Placed on the table.
People were so upset about it. They were so upset that you could see they had a physical, emotional reaction.
Wow.
They were saying that Stephen C. Meyer is a well-known Christian, that Stephen C. Meyer is an intelligent design proponent, that Stephen C. Meyer is a Republican. It was all couched in terms of religion, politics, and sociology. The way the chair of the department put it is that I was viewed as an intellectual terrorist.
Terrorist.
Because of giving the topic of intelligent design some modicum of credibility.
What happened to Dr. Sternberg was terrible, but surely it was just an isolated case. I was still...
So that's Dr. Sternberg there, and that should shock you, really. If that doesn't shock you, it should do. I mean, basically, he's an evolutionary biologist, and he was working on a magazine, and there was a guy who was an intelligent design guy who believed in that you could look at DNA and find evidence for God in DNA, etc. So this guy wanted to write an article, writes an article, sends it to the magazine. Sternberg publishes the article because he's a true scientist. He wants debate and discussion, and next thing you know, a whole massive investigation takes place where he kind of is stopped from doing that, and that has gone on time and time again in the evolutionary camp. Top scientist. So here's you've got the Smithsonian controversy here, and you can go and look at all the papers, and you can investigate all the papers, all the information there. All right, and there is all the documentary evidence that you need, and that will prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that there is intimidation going on at the highest academic level around the world today against anybody, even evolutionists. Even if you're an evolutionist and you question evolution and you make it known, or you promote dialogue and debate with somebody who may be doing a PhD or publishing a paper that questions evolution, you will lose your job. You will lose your career. You will be attacked mercilessly by the higher echelons of academia. And not only that, it goes right into governments, where they have people on panels who are absolutely witch hunters and will hound you with their government departments and get you out of your job. Now that's at the highest academic and political level. So when I'm being persecuted and vilified and attacked by these atheists, not all atheists, there are some decent atheists out there, But a lot of these militant kind of atheists, they're doing it. They're spreading lies and doing malicious things, saying malicious slander and getting involved in encouraging intimidation, even whipping up religious hatred and violence that was done, that was whipped up against me, and then they kind of say, oh, we're not violent, we don't want it, I never meant to be violent towards you. But the fact that they would whip up religious hatred, they know that would imply violence to someone. And then to say, oh, we didn't mean it, but sorry for saying these. Well, they didn't even say sorry for saying these things. They're whipping up religious hatred and trying to intimidate you to stop you having freedom of speech, to stop you speaking out. And the fact of the matter is, in my own situation, I don't have freedom of speech anymore to critique atheism. I used to have a channel called Atheist Examined, and I used to make videos critiquing atheism. And I am no longer able to do that anymore. And that is because of religious hatred, that is because of intimidation, that is because of the insinuation of violence against me by some of these militant atheists. And I haven't been able to go in my own city centre now for at least 5 weeks because of the religious hatred and violence that these militant atheists inspired. And the thing is I am qualified in my area of expertise. I'm qualified in theology. I have a degree in theology. I am an expert in historical Jesus studies, and the fact of the matter is, rather than actually engage in academic debate, what they would rather do is slander you, attack you, intimidate you, but they will not get involved in formal academic debates. One atheist tried a informal debate with me only recently at the Global Atheism. He was a very, very nice chap, and unusually nice, because most of the atheists at the moment on YouTube seem to have got a dose of the Thunderfoot kind of apologetics, where it's all about humiliating your opponents rather than actually sitting down and having actual amicable discussion. So this atheist was going out of the stream, and he was more of a amicable discussion. And if you see that debate that I had with him, formal debate, if you go on Global Atheism, you see how things should be done. It was a very amicable, gracious, kind discussion, and that's the way it should be. But these atheists generally don't want that, and that's why I've had to call them out over the last 5 years to show the narrow-minded, bigoted, vicious, intimidatory methodologies that these militant atheists use, and they don't like it. So what they've done in return is they've taken away my freedom of speech. So now I'm not able to have a channel where I can critique atheism. They set up an archive channel which has been involved in encouraging violence towards me, because one of the guys who's been watching videos on there, because the archive channel put the videos in the wrong area, wrong direction, person got the wrong end of the stick, came to see me in Manchester and whipped up religious hatred, and I almost was assaulted, if not assaulted really, because the guy was spitting in my face, and I could have been killed, I could have been murdered on that day because of the religious hatred that was being whipped up. And that was all because of an archive channel that the atheists set up. And yet I don't have a channel on atheism. So who's whipping up who, you know? I went on to debate the Global Atheism, and these same people who I've told to leave me alone came on the show and were attacking me personally again. And basically, the freedom of speech has been taken away in the higher echelons of academia, and it's also being taken away on YouTube. There is a massive farce going on in YouTube at the moment. Massive farce amongst the atheists. They will have these Google Hangouts and they'll talk till the cows come home, but they will not have experts in the areas come on and challenge them. I'm an expert on the historical Jesus studies, and they will not have me on because they will know that I will expose their scholarship for the trite scholarship and stupidity that it is. And so they won't have me on. And that's why they pump out their hatred week in, week out against me and continue to do. I went on holiday for a few days, had a really nice time. I come back, I make a few videos, next thing I know, they're all around the videos, attacking me and all the rest, and they should just go away and leave me alone and let me have my democratic right of freedom of speech. And they should let creationists have their democratic right of freedom of speech, and they don't want that. They don't want that. They just want to pump out their hatred, their bigotry, their violence, and it's got violent because they threatened me. I've had violent threats in town by atheists, so it's violence that they put on the table. They've not put on the table academic debate and academic discussion. One atheist recently, the global atheist, who goes against the stream, we had a beautiful conversation. It was a wonderful conversation. He was a lovely guy. And, you know, that's one example out of a good example out of one good egg out of a whole stack of bad eggs. And you need to be aware that freedom of speech is being taken away from Christians in the public space, in the area of science, and in the area of politics, and in the area of the internet. Freedom of speech is being taken away from Christians. I can prove this. All the atheists on the Google Hangouts, listen to them talk, right? They'll talk about the Bible, they'll talk about theology, they'll talk about God and all the rest. Not one of them will have any qualifications in theology. Yet a person who is more qualified than them in theology, they will not invite to come and answer questions and debate and have academic debate with them. The main issue in Christianity is the resurrection of Christ. They will not ask an expert in the resurrection of Christ and on the historical Jesus studies to come and debate them and discuss with them and have formal academic debates. Rather, what they'll do is they'll set up archive channels where they take away a person's freedom of speech. They'll inspire people to go into the city centres to threaten them. And that's the kind of intimidation. And if you don't believe me, if you think I'm lying, if you think I'm not telling the truth, all you have to do is type in Jason Burns and you'll see a video where there's an actual threat given to me by an atheist. It was a literal threat. It was a violent threat from an atheist, inspired by another atheist who says, oh, I don't want to inspire violence. That's what Jason wants. That's the kind of mentality, that's the kind of evil mentality that some of these groups are doing. My beef has always been against this militant atheism. I want formal academic debate and discussion. I want freedom of speech. I want to be able to open a channel and be able to critique atheism daily if I want to. That is my democratic right, but that right was taken away. Another example is an atheist said I was mentally ill and all the rest of it, and wrote a blog about this. And that is a disgusting thing to do. That is an evil thing to do that. And it is an unprofessional thing to do. And that same person I have told to leave me alone, and yet when I was having a debate with a global atheist, the person was under there commentating, and then the same person opened a Google Hangout called J-Boat After Show and just spent the whole show attacking me and trying to humiliate me. And this is the same person who says this person is mentally ill, thereby showing their complete hypocrisy. Freedom of speech is vital and it's important for democracy. I believe in freedom of speech, and as far as I'm concerned, the atheist community took my freedom of speech away, and I believe they're a disgusting movement on YouTube. And Dustin Singers can go and talk to these people, and Peterson can go and talk to these people, and all the rest, and people can say, oh, you've got to have thick skin because, you know, you get bad things to say to you. But you weren't in town and you weren't threatened. I was threatened, violently threatened by an atheist, inspired by atheists. I have been viciously slandered by the atheist community. I have had my freedom of speech taken away by the atheist community. I have been traumatized by the atheist community on a number of levels. So this is not a case of little talk and a little just someone bad-mouthing you and you need to be thick-skinned. This is systematic, violent persecution against a Christian apologist. And it's serious business. And I'm proving my point that it's not only going on YouTube, but it's going on in the higher echelons of academia amongst the evolutionists themselves, where they have ganged up and they've taken away somebody's job, destroyed somebody's career who was a top academic in their work, and all they wanted to do is promote dialogue and discussion amongst evolutionists and creationism. And that's my point. I guarantee, and I challenge the atheist community now, okay, right now, to prove whether what I'm saying is true or not. I am telling you, I'm an expert on historical Jesus studies and the resurrection of Christ, and I am qualified to talk about my topic, theology. You set up a debate with Richard Carrier or Dr. Price, and I will turn up and I will win that debate. If you fail to set up a debate like that, all you are is a lying, conniving, bullying, systematic, vicious group of people who are anti-intellectual, and all you're interested in is defaming and slandering and bullying people off YouTube. That's all you're interested in. Because you will not deal with the experts in their field. Okay? So, I've proved my point. These people will not engage in academic debate and discussion because they're anti-intellectual and they're more interested in bullying people off YouTube. The reason why they'll talk to you, Dustin Singers, and the reason why they'll talk to you, Peterson, and all the rest of it, is because it makes them look good. Makes them look good because you represent certain people and it makes them look good. But anybody else who hasn't got the backing, who hasn't got a group behind them, they will bully and they will attack and they will get off YouTube. And it's not right, it's not fair, and I don't believe in it, and I think it's wrong. And anybody out there should get that archive channel closed down that they have on me. It is not fair that they have an archive channel, the atheist community have an archive channel, and at the same time that archive channel has been involved in violence against me, and it was violent because the person threatened me violently, came right up into my face and spat in my face, and not only that, I've not been allowed to go in, I've not been in my town, in my city centre, and that's because of the archive channel as well. And that archive channel should come down, and you should pull it down as atheists, and it should come down, and it should come down because you have used that to intimidate and threaten me, and it should come down. And not only should that come down, but there should be a public apology from the atheist community that you've been intimidating me, that you've been slandering me, and that you've been attacking me, and that you've been violent towards me as an atheist community on YouTube, and you need to apologize, and you need to close the archive channel down, and you need to allow me the freedom of speech. And it's as simple as that. What you have done is disgusting. It's vile. It's disgusting, and you're wicked in taking away someone's freedom of speech. Nobody is to be hated as so much that they cannot have freedom of speech. And I have not been able to go into my city centre because of the hatred, the slander, and the violent attack that you did to me on that day. And it was a violent attack. It was disgusting what you did. It was horrible. I have still shaken up and I am still intimidated by that attack, by that person in Manchester. I'm still intimidated and shaken up by that. And it is wrong. You have no right to make someone like that. and I am not a person to go to the police and cause trouble. So I have stayed away from my own city centre. But that's because of intimidation from the atheist community online. And it is intimidation from all of you. DPR Jones, Thunderfoot, Aaron, Matt Delonte, Richard Dawkins, Sam Harris. You're all implicated in it because all of you have not come out and said it's wrong that a preacher cannot go into his own city centre and preach because of fear of intimidation because an atheist threatened him. It is wrong, and we utterly reject it. It is not right. Now leave the guy alone. And because you were not coming out and saying that, you were guilty. You were guilty of it. You're all guilty of it. Every single one of you. Live Life, Essence of Thought, Go Green 18. You're all guilty of intimidation because you're not standing up against those groups of people who are involved in this kind of intimidation. It is not right and it is wrong. It is wrong. And then on that day when I was intimidated, the person comes back and goes on an atheist show where the atheists have a drink session on me and getting drunk, and the person boasts about what they did, and it's all fun and they're all having a laugh, and the person who threw out this horrendous accusation is on there drunk and having a laugh, and they all think it's funny, and it's not funny because I was traumatized by it. So as you as an atheist community need to do something about it. It's not going to go away. I'm not going to go to the police. I'm not going to go to the police because I'm not going to go and take it so far that it gets people into trouble, because I'm not like that. But this isn't going to go away. I believe passionately in freedom of speech. And unless you as atheists do not give me back my freedom of speech, I'm continuing to tell the story. I want you to close the archive channel down, and I want the atheist community to come out and speak up against this and say it's not right. It is not right that I have closed my channel down, Atheist Examined, and cannot speak against your position. It's not right. And at the same time, you have an archive channel where you're continually taking away my freedom of speech. It's not right. And every atheist on that side who believes in that is just talking bull. It's not right and it's not fair. No, I don't believe that's the true atheism. I don't believe that real atheists believe that. I don't believe that global atheist believes that. I don't believe that there are atheists out there on YouTube that agree with this position. It's not right. You do not have a right to take away someone's freedom of speech, and you have. You've taken away my freedom of speech. I cannot have a channel where I can make videos on atheism. I can't have that channel because of the persecution and the intimidation that you did. So it's gone. It's closed down. But you have an archive channel where any video I made, you put it on there, and it takes away from my freedom of speech because people are not coming to my channel to hear what I have to say because you're streaming everything on one channel. And that same channel has been involved in intimidation against me. And it's not fair. It's not fair. I'm sorry, it's not fair to have the slander that some of you have put out that you've never provided any evidence for, and then you think it's okay and you think it's fun. It's not fair. It's not right. I'm sorry, but it's not right. There has to be, within your community of atheists, there has to be some moral responsibility. And you have to take these people to task, and you have to say, Live Life has tried to do it. He's tried to speak out. Raul's tried to speak out. Some people have tried to speak out behind the scenes. But it's not right. You've got to speak out verbally, and you've got to say, this is not right. It's not right. Someone's freedom of speech is taken away. And you can say, oh, well, Jay, you've got all these soccer accounts. Yeah, but those soccer accounts are not involved in criticizing atheism. They're not involved in criticizing atheism. I haven't got a channel where I've put all my videos on atheism because I've closed it down. So you're in a situation where all my videos on atheism are held by atheists. I can't have a channel where I can put all my videos on atheism on. So you're the ones who have taken away my freedom of speech, and you're the ones perpetuating a war that is over with. Now I want my freedom of speech back. I want the right, if I wanted to open a channel and criticize atheism without fear of intimidation, without fear of slander, to the point where it will get me killed and violently attacked in my own city because some idiot has not provided any evidence and thinks it's fun because they went on a show laughing their heads off, getting drunk. So they prove that they're not being serious. I want my freedom back. And I'll not be intimidated by people who just think it's all a laugh and a joke. Because it isn't a laugh and it isn't a joke. I've not been able to go into my home city for 4 weeks. I've not been able to function normally for 4 weeks in my life. I've had continual harassment from you atheists, both from my doctor, both from the police, and both in my city centre. And I'll not have any Christian out there going on and saying, oh, just have a thick skin. Because it's not about thick skin. It's about a group of people who have pushed it so far that they're off the scale and they need to stop it. And it stops when I have my free speech. And if I want to say something about Obama, if I want to say something about you, if I want to say something about anything, if I want to say that the moon is made of green cheese, then it's my right to do so. You don't have a right to take away someone's freedom of speech. Now I say to you atheists out there, and I say to you Christians out there, I'm going to name names. And I'm going to ask you to go and have a word with these people to leave me alone. And you leave me alone by allowing me freedom of speech. That's when you leave me alone. When I can open a channel on atheism without being intimidated, when I can go in my city centre without being intimidated, when I can live in freedom of conscience and peace, knowing that I'm not going to be attacked by some nutter who's listening to slander on YouTube that has no evidence or basis of evidence whatsoever. Then I've been left alone. Until then, you have not left me alone. Until then, you've got your hands on my head and you're not letting me live. Now the choice is yours. Leave me alone and let me get on with my democratic freedom of preaching and of doing apologetics. And if I want to open a channel on atheism or whatever, leave me alone. Okay? But you've not left me alone, because you're still allowing the slander to circulate. You still got the archive channel. You still turn up whenever I debate an atheist who wants to debate me. You still turn up and still start attacking my character there. Now leave me alone and let me get on with my democratic right of freedom of speech. This is the last time I'm going to say it. But I want my freedom of speech. And I will have my freedom of speech. Because it's everybody's right to have freedom of speech. I have never taken away anybody's freedom of speech on YouTube. I've never taken away Aaron Ra, DPR Jones, any of their freedoms. I've never took Ozzy's freedom. I've never took anybody's freedom or curtailed anybody's freedom on YouTube. And it's a serious business when people take away their freedom. And it's not something to laugh at, Ozzy. When you made a video intro, I know you were sticking up for me. I know you stood in for me, and I appreciate that. But it's not something to laugh about. It's serious business. You as an atheist community, some groups took away my freedom. I had to close the channel down. And I can't go into my city centre. And you have absolutely no right to do that. And you've moved the goalpost a mile high, becoming fanatical to the point of this. And some of you just thought it was fun. And it's not fun. Now you as atheists, stop talking privately to these people and speak out and say enough's enough. If J-Bo wants to start a channel criticizing atheism, he is allowed to do so. We should not be having an archive channel with 1,700 of his videos without his permission. He does not grant us permission. And there have been 2 incidents now where we've traumatized the guy through this archive channel, and we have to take it down. You don't have the right. And what you're doing is wrong. And that's the last time I'm going to say anything. But if you ignore it, Thunderfoot, if you ignore it, Aaron Ra, if you ignore it, DPR Jones, Ozzy, Dropout, and all of you, if you ignore it, it's going to come back and bite you, mate. Eh? It'll come back and bite you. I want my freedom. I want my freedom in my own country and on the internet. I want the freedom to speak out and say what I want to say. And I have the right to freedom. And you don't have the right to take it away. People who got pissed, who got drunk on the Captain Awesome show. You got pissed. You had a piss night where you got pissed and you were drinking and taking the piss out of me on a night, on a day when my freedom of speech was taken away, when an atheist came and threatened me. You had a piss night. And I'm supposed to lose my speech for pissheads who do that side of thing? And you who threw out the accusation against me, saying whatever, you went on there and you had a piss night too on that show. And it was all funny. And on that day, I was at home nearly crying my eyes out because I was flipping traumatized by the idiots who came in town in Manchester because of idiots like you. And you as idiots inspired them to put that video on YouTube. Now I'm telling you, DPR Jones, I'm telling you, Thunderfoot, I'm telling you, Aaron Ra, I'm telling you, Matt Delonte, I'm telling you, all of you atheists out there, deal with this now and get it sorted, and get it sorted now. These people have taken away my freedom. Now get it sorted and get my freedom back and speak out, because it's not right and it's not fair. If you, DPR Jones, lost your freedom of speech, I'd be the first one to defend you. When they took away Live Life's freedom of speech and negation of P, I was the first person there to defend them. And I want my freedom. I want my freedom. I'm not going to go to the police. I'm going to leave you, DP, you, Aaron Ra, you, Thunderfoot, you, Matt Delunty, you, David Silverman, you, Dan Barker. I'm going to leave it with you to sort out. To sort these people out who have overstepped the line. You sort it out, and you send me a message on Skype saying all is well on the Western Front. You got your freedom, boy. And you go back in Manchester and preach, and don't you fear being intimidated and being slandered and attacked in your own city. You go preach, bro, because you're free in your city. And if you want to make a video criticizing us, you go and do it, because it's all right with us. So it's in your hands, and you sort it out. And you lot who've been intimidating me and bullying me, sod off. Right? Sod off. I don't know you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to be near you. So go away. Because if you come near me, I'll put a restriction order on you. You made my life a hell and a misery. So sod off. And that's all I have to say. I want my freedom. So it's up to you. Those people, you sort it out. But I will have my freedom. If you don't sort it out, that's up to you. That's up to you. But if it ever happens again, the first thing I'll do is go to the police. If any flipping atheist comes near me in Manchester, the first thing I will do is go to the police, and I'll put a restriction order on every single one of you. Whether it be on YouTube or whether it be flipping on in Manchester, if it ever happens again. So it's better off you get it sorted, and you get it sorted now. I've not been in my own city for 4 weeks. That is not right, and that is not something to ignore as atheists. Now I want to go in my own city with freedom. I want to go in on YouTube with freedom without being intimidated. And the funny thing is, mate, the funny thing is, what gets me, is you lot say, oh, Jay's a nutter, Jay's this, Jay's that. Yeah? Jay's this and Jay's that. If I'm so stupid, why do you come and listen to me? Why do you come and watch my videos? So, Jim Gardner, take your psychologizing nut job life and stay away from me. Because when I was on a show, you came near me. Stay away. And all the rest of you, stay away. And leave me alone. And let me get on with my free democratic right. And it starts by the atheist community putting pressure on these individuals and telling them to leave me alone. And that means that archive channel has to come down. And there's no ifs and buts. It has to come down. And number two, there has to be a clear statement from the atheist community that I am free in my own city and online. If you don't do that, you've not left me alone. You are still intimidating and abusing me. And what that means is I will not be going to my city centre again. It means I will be going to other towns and places, and it means my activity will not be, I will not be getting involved on YouTube or anything. That's what it means. I've got a friend who wants to do a Bible study, and he can do a Bible study. But I'll be just listening in. But I won't be doing anything. But when you back me into a corner, when I can't go into my city centre for 4 weeks, that gets me mad. When some people throw out accusations that they have not provided evidence, that gets me mad. when I feel intimidated and pushed out of the YouTube community because of people who are not willing to engage because they're not intelligent enough, that gets me mad. I want my freedom. I want the freedom to be able to go into my city center. I want the freedom to go here. The rest of you militant atheists, go away. Go away. I don't want to know you. Go away. Go away. All right? Go away. I don't want to know you. Go away. All right? Go. Go on, go. Why do you keep coming round? Go on, go. I don't want to know you. Go. Go on, go. I'm happy to talk to people like Global Atheism. I went on his show. We had a great time. Give me more people like him. More decent atheists like him. The reason why I'm angry today is because I have been thinking today, I've been on a holiday, and I've been thinking, should I go into Manchester or not? And it's hit me that I've not been in Manchester since that incident of an atheist coming into town to record. I've not been in my own city for the last 4 weeks, and it makes me really angry. And it makes me angry that there's an archive channel that continues to take my videos without my permission. It makes me angry. It's not fair. When you've made me close a channel, and then you put threats on me with Jim Gardner, with those threats that he has, that if I make a video against atheism, next thing you know, he gets involved, he gets in contact with my doctor and says, oh, he's off on one, he's flipping mentally ill. So you can't even make a video against atheism because flipping Jim Gardner gets on the phone to the doctor. And then on top of that, you can't even go in your own city centre unless you get some nut job coming in, throwing out silly accusations, you get into violence. I want my freedom. I want you to leave me alone, Jim Gardner. I want you to leave me alone, the rest of you. I don't want you to talk about me. I don't want you near me. I want you to leave me alone and let me get on with my democratic right of going in my city centre and preaching, and my democratic right in making videos about Christianity. And I resent the fact that you've taken my freedom away, and it is not right, and it's because of intimidation. And if you never speak out against it, DP, if you never speak out against it, Aaron Ra, or Thunderfoot, if you never speak out against it, Matt Delonte, if you never speak out against it, David Silman, or Dan Barker, then may it be on your own head. You will lose your freedom of speech. I won't take it away, but God will take it away. Mark my words, your freedom will be taken away too. You don't believe me? You see it. You need to stand up for what is right, and it is not right that I had to close a channel. It is not right that I can't go in my city centre. If that was towards Aaron Ra, if Aaron Ra couldn't go into his city centre, if Aaron Ra had an opponent who set up an archive channel and was doing what this archive channel was doing, and if Aaron Ra had to close his own channel down, Thunderfoot and DPR Jones, you'd be absolutely going nuts. You'd be going absolutely nuts. But because it's J-Bo, it doesn't matter. But whether it's an atheist or a Christian, it does matter. Now, I'm asking you to not let these people win. I'm asking you to stand up against these people, and I'm asking you to speak out, and I'm asking you to stand for my freedom. And if you don't, then fair enough, we'll let it go. But if it ever happens again, if an atheist ever comes near me, whether online or whether in Manchester, I will have a restriction order put upon them because you've intimidated me violently. You intimidated me with violence, and I have a right, even to this moment, to put a restriction order on any atheist coming near me because of that. And if it ever happens again, I will do that. If you do not do something about this. Now, do something about it and give me my freedom. That's all I'm saying. End of story, okay? So basically, because I can't go in my city centre, that's why I've gone on the rant. That's why I've lost my temper. And that's because of you as atheists. Now leave me alone and go away and let me get on with my freedom. And if you don't want freedom, then go to flipping some country where they don't give you freedom. But we're living in the West and there is freedom. And you don't have the right to take that freedom away. And Jim Gardner, if I want to make a video on atheism, you don't have a right to flip inform my doctor. And you're a flipping hypocrite. Because at the same time, when I was debating flipping Global Atheist, you came on there making comments, and then on top of that, you opened a Google archive thing saying J-Bo After Show. Someone who's been saying J-Bo's mentally ill. And then you do that, showing you complete, utter arsehole for what you've done. Because you flipping traumatized me, what you did. Hold on. Calm down now, Sam. And if Manchester police are listening, you didn't flipping protect me from these people. You didn't flipping sort me out. You didn't look after me when I was threatened in Manchester. When I was attacked and threatened, you weren't there, right? So just remember that. You weren't there when I was flipping threatened. Because we phoned you, we rang you, and you didn't come. Alright? I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care if you believe in Hinduism, Muslim. I don't mind if you're gay or lesbian or whatever. I don't care where you're from, what you're from. You have a right to freedom of speech, and you have a right to freedom of speech, and you have a right to speak out and say what you want to say. You have a right to do that, and I'll always be there to defend your right to freedom. I'll always be there. But you nut jobs on YouTube think it's so funny. You think it's a joke. You think it's a laugh, and it's not a laugh. It's serious business. You're messing with people's lives. You're intimidating people. And you're destroying people's lives. And it's not funny. Freedom is freedom. You've got freedom. I want my freedom. So let me have my freedom. That's all I'm saying. Let me have my freedom. That's all I want. It's just freedom. I don't like bullies. I don't like being intimidated by people. And it's not right. And I don't intimidate people. I don't bully people. I don't go around intimidating any atheist. I don't go around intimidating anybody. I haven't taken away Aaron Ra's freedom of speech, or Thunderfoot, or Dan Barker, or any of these people. I've not taken your freedom of speech away. I've not got the doctor on Aaron Ra. I've not got the police on Aaron Ra. I've not flipping turned up in Aaron Ra's city centre with a camera, accusing him of outrageous accusations, and then nearly getting him beat up. I've not done anything like that to any atheist whatsoever. And so you have no right to do that to me. And all the atheists out there, it's no good with your head in the sand and pretending that these things didn't happen. They did happen. It's no good your head in the sand and just thinking, oh well, it'll all go away, because it ain't going to go away. It ain't going to go away because you're not taking away somebody's freedom of speech. It's just not going to happen. So it's not going to go away. Because I believe in freedom of speech. And so, unless you give that freedom of speech, unless you take the foot off the pedal and say, the guy is a guy who has the right to freedom of speech. And if you're going to ratchet it up to the 9th degree that you did, then it'll get serious. We'll go into a more serious realm. You know, if I have to go to the if I went to the police and showed that video, you'd be all in serious trouble. The video that you did in Manchester and filmed it, you'd be in serious trouble. All the lot of you are be in real serious trouble. But I'm not malicious. I'm not vicious. I'm not like that. I'm not like a little kid saying, "Oh, I've got them now. I'm going to get them all into trouble." I'm not like that. So I'm appealing to the atheist community to do something. And if you don't do something, I'm not going to mention it again. I'm not going to mention it again. Listen to me, DPR Jones. I'm addressing you now. Right? You can be the spokesman for all these people. I'm addressing you. I'm not going to mention it again. Right? I'm not going to mention it again. But my request to the atheist community worldwide, and I'm saying you as a spokesman, DPR John, is number one, the archive channel has to come down because it's been involved in intimidation. Number two, it has to be clearly stipulated that I have the freedom of speech to set up a channel on atheism. I won't do that, but I want it clearly stated by the atheist community that I have a right to do so if I wish. And number three, I want you to make a clear statement that I am free from intimidation in my own city centre. And you do not acknowledge or associate with anybody who would want to threaten somebody. And I want it made clear from the atheist community, DPR Jones, that that's the case. Via those three stipulations, I will not be going into my city centre. I have not been in my city centre, and I will not be going in my city centre. And number two, I will not be making any videos on atheism in any shape or form, or mentioning the atheist, or even talking to an atheist on YouTube. And that is my stipulation. And if any atheist, because I won't be going to my city centre, but if any atheist comes near me in any other city and does anything, says anything that is in any way intimidating, I will go to the police and I'll have a restriction order put upon them. So the ball's in your court. I am not allowed to go in my city centre at the moment, and it has to change, and it's a serious thing. Now, I'm not going to the local authorities, to the police, and getting it sorted out that way, because that will get you into trouble. It will get you as atheist into trouble. It won't get me into trouble. Get you as atheist into trouble. So I'm not going to do it. I am asking you to sort yourselves out in your own community, and you need to get it sorted out. So it's in your ball court, it's in your situation. It's a serious situation. If an individual DP cannot go to their own city centre, that is serious. That is not right. That is not fair. Now, DP, you're a lawyer. Where is the evidence that this person made this accusation? Where is the evidence? There is no evidence. So that person needs to withdraw their accusation and apologise for what they've said. If they fail to do that, then I am not going into my city centre. And you need to sort it out. You need to make it clear that I am safe, that I am fine, that everything's okay. Because it's serious. You cannot do these kind of things as a community and think that it's all fun and it's a joke and all the rest, because it isn't. You threw some serious accusations out and you flipping intimidated me out of my own city centre. That's serious stuff. So unless you've got evidence, unless you flipping make a public statement that I am free to go in my city centre, I'm not going in my city centre. So you're in some serious shit as atheist on YouTube. I mean, you're in serious shit. From Aaron Thunderfoot, Silverman, Dawkins, Sam Harris, UDP, all of you are in serious shit. because you're all complicit in this, because it's not one atheist, it's not two, it's 4 or 5 shows that were involved in this, and you're not speaking out and saying anything to them. So you're in serious shit as an atheist community online. And nothing is going to get you out of it unless you do something yourselves. And if you think you're going to bring flipping problems on me and crap on me, then that's up to you. But it's going to backfire, because if anything happens to me anymore, I'll just go to the police and I'll show them the video, and it'll be all over for flipping half of the shows that have been attacking me. So you get it dealt with online, have a meeting, get the atheist community online, have a meeting with these people, have a meeting, and get online and have a meeting and sort it out and make a public statement. And if the statement attacks me in any way, and you vilify me in any shape or form, then at the end of the day, if anybody comes near me who's an atheist, I will put a restriction order on you. It's as simple as that. Because you can't be allowed to throw accusations out like that and then put someone under the kind of mental pressure that you put them on in their own city centre, intimidating them like that with violence. You're not allowed to do that. It's not fair. And you're lucky that I didn't go to the police. Now leave me alone. You flipping made my life a misery the last 6 months, you militant atheist. You've made it an absolute misery, so leave me alone. You don't want academic debates and discussion. You can't have academic debates and discussion. You're not qualified in historical Jesus studies. You're not qualified in resurrection studies. You're not qualified in these areas. You don't want to debate me, so leave me alone. If you don't want to debate and have academic debate and discussion, leave me alone. I've proved my point here. I don't think you can see it on that one, but excuse me. All I'm advocating is just the freedom of religion, freedom of peace. And you're going to throw out accusations and you're going to do those kind of things. You better have evidence. If you haven't got the evidence, you're just talking through the backside of your ass, and you need to be called out on it, and you need to pack it in, because it's serious stuff. Mike.
So, do you want me to clarify that a bit more? I don't know if
that's fine. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions on this?
By all means.
I read a little bit about John Dewey, and it seemed to me that what pragmatism, one of the things about pragmatism is about problem solving, and he seemed to be talking about society using physics, biology, and all information, bringing it together and using it to make. Well, there was a guy I thought.
You know, that's a different issue.
The issue is
probably will never agree on everything, which I think as a psychologist is good.
Now, the global atheism, we had a really good conversation, and it was amicable, it was great, it was fine. I loved it, absolutely loved it. He was a great guy, and I think I got the better of him in the debate, but he was a lovely guy, really, really nice. That's the kind of person I want to do business with. That's the kind of person I want to talk to. But you're not getting away with the fact that some of you, I have not been able to go into my city centre for 4 weeks. And it is no joke. Now, you either provide the evidence for the accusation that you made there. 4 of the other accusations are all flipping false that were made there. You need to provide the evidence. You haven't provided the evidence. You've not retracted it, so that's intimidation. And you need to make sure that I am free to go into my city centre. And the way you do that is you make it clear as an atheist community that you do not agree with violence and intimidation. If you don't do that, I will not be going into my city centre. I'll be going to other towns and other cities to preach, because I'm not safe in my own city centre. But if it ever happens again, I will go to the police. And it's as simple as that. So it's up to you. If you want to ratchet it up into a more serious scenario, then that's up to you. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to go to the police. I don't want to cause you any problem. I just want to go into my city centre and be free. But you're not getting away with intimidating me with accusations that you've got no evidence for and intimidation in my own city centre. You're not getting away with it, and you're not getting away with taking away my freedom online. It's just not going to happen. So you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. You got not a leg to stand on. I don't have a channel where I'm attacking atheism. So you haven't got a leg to stand on. You don't have the right to have all those videos. You don't have the right to be following me around YouTube and attacking me and saying things that you do. Because I'm not following you around. I don't go to your channels. I don't go to you and start talking about you or attacking you on your channels. I don't do that. Alright? So why are you doing it to me? I do not know. I just want you to leave me alone. I want to talk to people like Global Atheism. Good guy. Like the guy. Happy to talk to him. I want my freedom back, DPR Jones. Now, I love you, mate. When I was on holiday, I was thinking about you. I really do. You need to get it sorted, mate. You need to pull these people together, and you need to have a word with them, and you need to say, leave the guy alone. And they're not leaving me alone until they close that channel down. Until this accusation is done and dusted, and this accusation, the person apologizes for what they've said. Otherwise, it's a baseless accusation, and they're lying through their ass. They have no evidence. If they give the evidence, then I will apologize myself and say, I'm sorry. But if they don't provide the evidence, they are just making malicious slander that's beyond the pale, and it's not on. And the third thing is, you need to make it clear that I'm free to go in my city centre. Now, we deal with it online as a community. You deal with it. And it's as simple as that. But if you're not willing to deal with it, if you're just putting your head in the sand and you think it'll all go away, and these people who did this, it's just all going to go away. It's not going to go away. Because I'm not going in on my city centre until I know that I am safe. And I am not safe if someone listens to these accusations that have been put about me. Some nutter listens to that, could take it in their hands to attack me, because I nearly got attacked. So until things are sorted, then I am not willing to go into my city centre. And if I'm not willing to go in my city centre, it's not been sorted. Now that's all I have to say. I'm not going to go online now. I'm just going to have a rest now. But it's been building up in my heart for weeks, and I wanted to say my piece, and I'm saying my piece now. I'm not having it. It's not fair and it's not right. I've not persecuted Jim Gardner. I've not persecuted McDropout or any of these people. I don't persecute anybody online. I don't persecute these people. I don't persecute any of the people that have persecuted me. I don't go around to their channels putting comments on their channels. I don't go around to any of these people's channels, to DPR channel, I don't go around to yours. I don't go around to yours, Iron Thunderfoot. I don't go around. I don't harass you. I don't go around bothering you. So why they have to keep coming to me and harassing me and bothering me, I don't know. So deal with it. Just deal with it. Either provide the evidence, give us a police report, give us the evidence, and all is finished. And apologise if you don't provide the evidence. If you don't provide the evidence, then it was malicious slander. And secondly, the person who has the archive channel needs to pull the archive channel down, and the person who did the video in Manchester needs to pull it down and apologise. And if you don't do that, I am not going into my city centre, and if it ever happens again, I will get in touch with the police. And it's as simple as that. So the ball's in your court as an atheist community. Get it sorted out, or this is going to linger and it'll come out in the wash eventually. You'll be exposed. It'll come out that this person is lying, and they'll make a mistake. They've already been exposed on the channel. Someone making comments, an atheist at the time, and they cut that person off because they were exposing them. So eventually they'll get exposed, and when they get exposed, it'll all come out, and it'll be you lot who'll be made to look bad, not me. So you need to be honest now and deal with it now. And it's not that serious on your behalf, because these people who made the accusation were on a show getting drunk, bladdered out of their own heads, pissed, and taking the mick out of me and laughing at me. So it's obviously not serious to them. So if it's not that serious, they need to withdraw the accusation. So I've gone on because simply I can't go into my city centre. I've been thinking about what to do today. Should I go to one city or go to my own city? Should I go and paint the decking in the garden? What should I do? But my first port of call normally would be, oh, I'll go into my city centre and do some evangelism. And I can't. And that's not right, and that's not fair, and you have no justification whatsoever as an atheist community to even begin to stop someone or intimidate someone from going in their own city centre. And the archive channel and the groups around that, the people who've been on there and commentating, are all to blame. And if you don't sort it out, DP, if it's not sorted out, I can guarantee you, I'll guarantee you that this will come back to haunt every single one of you. It'll haunt you. It'll come back, and it will be dealt with, and somehow it will be dealt with. And when it's dealt with, it'll be you lot that comes crashing down, and you'll be exposed for what you've been doing, and it's just been intimidation. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and God bless you. Have a lovely day, and there we are. So at the end of the day, just go away and leave me alone and let me have my freedom. It's as simple as that.